Hi, I'm Charlotte Smith with Grass-Fed TV, your place for recipes and ideas on how to cook through that quarter beef you ordered. One of my favorite wintertime suppers is a pot roast. And so today that's what we're going to make. The roast, you want to start with a 3 to 4 pound roast. And the nice thing about when you order your beef bulk is you get to select your roast size. And I always choose the smaller size, which means all your roast will be cut to about 3 to 3.5 pounds. And this works great for our family and enough for leftovers too. The pot roast, today I'm going to use a beef shoulder roast, but these roasts come from the front of the cow and they are very well muscled because they're the muscles that pull that 50-pound head of the cow up and down all day long. There's lots of connective tissue running through them too, so they require the long, slow braise in a liquid that we're going to do in our recipe today. And many times they are held together by this piece of net. And you just want to leave that netting on there. So the first thing we're going to do here is just pat it dry, and this is so we want it to brown in there. And then we're going to liberally spread it with this kosher salt. Just season it all on the outside. Once I've got my salt on there, we're going to take it over to our pan. I've turned this Dutch oven on medium-high heat, and at this point you're going to add some fat. And I use homemade lard. You can also use butter or ghee or beef tallow. We add about a tablespoon and just let it melt in there before we add our beef. Now that our fat is melted, we just place our roast in there. I'm going to set the timer for about 10 minutes. Now that our beef is nicely browned, we're going to turn it over and set it aside on a dinner plate. We'll use that in a minute. Now we're going to add to our pan here, reduce the heat a little bit too so it doesn't start smoking. We're adding 1 onion that we've chopped. And we're going to just cook it until it's brown, which will be about 6 minutes. Once your onions are browned, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of flour. And if you prefer, if you're eating gluten-free or paleo, you can feel free to use sweet potato starch. Once your flour is browned, you're going to add your liquid that the pot roast will be braising in. And I have some homemade beef stock here, and it's really easy, again, when you order beef bulk, to request some bones. Throw some bones in a pot like this and fill it with water. And you get a really wonderful, rich stock that makes your pot roast even more flavorful. So it calls for 3 cups of stock and a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, which we will add right now. And then as you're stirring, be sure you're scraping off those really wonderful, flavorful browned bits off the bottom of the pan while you bring it to a boil here. We'll go ahead and add our spices and flavorings. We've got our salt, some thyme, you can use fresh or dried, 3 bay leaves, and then about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And lastly, I'm going to turn the heat down, we add our roast back to the pan. And then now we're going to cover it with a lid, and we'll place it in our 300-degree oven for about 2.5 hours. All right, take the lid off. Oh, this smells wonderful. Our roast has been cooking for the first 2.5 hours. I'm just going to turn it over in the pan and add our vegetables, which we're adding fingerling potatoes, carrots, and parsnips. All right, now we have a wonderful, delicious pot roast. It took about 3 hours to 3.5 total cooking time. Put our pot roast right there, where we're going to cut it up. And I'll place the vegetables here on this platter. Then we place our sliced beef back on our vegetables. And lastly, I'm going to pour the gravy right over the top of all of this. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this video. We have this wonderful dish here that smells so good. Forward this to your friends. Also, be sure to leave your name and email address on the boxes on the website so you receive these recipes each month. And lastly, scroll down below this video
to the comment section and leave me a comment, ask a question, share your favorite pot roast memories with me. I would love to hear. This is where we all get to connect. Thank you so much. Send this recipe to your friends who want to improve their cooking. So share this recipe with a friend. Forward it to someone who you want to forward it to.